Top down in the Tennessee hills. Ain't no smoggy smoke on Rocky Top, ain't no telephone bills. Once I had a girl on Rocky Top, and their other half cat. Wild as a mink, but sweet as soda pop, I still dream about that.
My name is Joseph Brown and I'm 17 years old.
How did you hear about the Foothills Male Chorus and what made you decide to join?
Well, my mother went and saw a lot of the concerts before I joined and said that I should give it a shot. I didn't really give any serious thought into it until I noticed that there were a couple of my school friends who were also in it, Caleb Sorensen and Nicholas Pullis, for example. But it really wasn't until Christina Oliver, who was my director in drama at the time, said I should really give it a go, and that was really the driving factor for me to pursue it.
What was it like when you first joined the male chorus?
Well, when I first joined, I was a little nervous, a little hesitant. I wasn't sure what it was going to be like. When I got there, I looked around and I realized, oh my God, I'm the youngest person there. But despite that, everybody was really nice, really welcoming. They really treated me like one of their own right in the beginning. They gave me this cool jacket, this wonderful swag here. You also get a vest and a tie.
So compared to your first rehearsal, what did it feel like by the end, at the last performance?
The first rehearsal was kind of like the first day of school, you know. It was a lot of, okay, you're here, but you don't really know anybody, so you're still trying to spark conversations, get to know everybody, know what your interests are. But by the end of it, it was like we're all good friends. We can have good laughs together. It was all like just loads of fun. That's what it came down to, is just having fun.
Good. Do you have any stories that you'd like to share with your experience with Foothills Male Chorus?
Well, I think the biggest story for me was the first moment I offered to do a solo for Rocky Top. We were 2 weeks away from the show, and the original soloist wasn't there. So I've been thinking through the whole rehearsal process. I was like, man, this is a good song. I'd like to do this solo, but never had the confidence or the opportunity to do so. So our original soloist wasn't there, so I was in the back, and after 3 or 4 people said, no, I wouldn't like to do it, I slowly raised up my hand and saw everybody's faces kind of look in awe. And after that, I did the solo. There wasn't much of a problem. It went pretty good, and I eventually did it for the show. So it was my best memory. Quartet was probably the most fun I've had. Just being with the four young guns, as Christina likes to say. But I remember about like maybe 30 seconds before we were doing our bit at our concert, and Travis, who was one of the other guys, goes up to me and he's like, okay, what's the first word? And the 4 of us were on stage and we're like, oh, we don't know what the first word is. So you don't really think about it when you're singing, but once the music came on, everybody got it. It was a flawless run. It was perfect, and it was a lot of fun. But there's just little things like that which make it just more fun and more exciting.
So you performed a solo in Rocky Top, and you performed as part of a quartet with the other 3 young guns in the choir, with Ian and Travis and Cody. Do you think because of those experiences through the male chorus that you were able to get up on stage at your own high school grad to sing and accompany yourself on guitar? Do you think that contributed to that?
That was really the defining factor, to be able to perform in front of people on my own or in a small group and really be able to be yourself, because performing in a choir was a lot different. I mean, you're performing, but you're being carried by other people, so it's not as much as a problem, I guess to say. But yeah, it was performing with the quartet was really a confidence booster, to be able to do it with other people, a small group of people, which would help me out in the future as well. But really the solo on my own, that was the defining moment, especially how the crowd was after my solo was really, oh, I can do this. I don't know what's holding me back, but I'm free now, and I was really able to do it. And I wanted to perform for grad before I joined the choir, but I didn't have any confidence, or I didn't really know how to take that route until the choir.
I'm going to piggyback on this still, just a minute. So did you have singing experience before you joined the male chorus?
Yeah, I took private lessons with Carol Ray, who really helped me and pushed me to gain some confidence there, but I never performed in front of anybody else. In fact, the choir, even just the rehearsals in the choir, were the first time I performed in front of people or sang in front of people other than my vocal coach. But I did have training before, but nothing with groups or nothing in front of people.
What was one of the funniest things that happened?
A couple things that happened that were funny, but one of the things that really stuck into my mind was during our main concert. I think we were singing, and Paul, who was behind me, and he was the lead for the tenors, said the line was with a deck of 51, but he said with a deck of 61. And Paul, being the lead, said it big, bright, and loud. Everybody heard it. And the whole tenor section kind of got threw off by this, and we're like, what, did we say the wrong line, or is that right? Or yeah, we got thrown off. That was some funny that happened. I think something else that happened was, again, during our performance for the quartet, not knowing what the words were. I mean, we knew what the words were, but when you think about it, we didn't know what the words were until the song started. So we're up on stage and we're muttering to ourselves. We're like, "What's the word? Oh, I don't know. What's the word? No idea." That was something funny that happened. All the rehearsals are funny, really, just from poking fun at some of the members or making fun if you're late for a little bit. It was just good fun all around and good laughs.
It was fun to have Christina conducting. There were a lot of crazy things and stuff. She teased a lot of people. But how did you find it?
Well, when I first got there, I was a little intimidated. I was like, okay, well, I'm the new guy. I'm the youngest guy. What if she's gonna poke at me or make me do something I was uncomfortable with? But that was never the case. She made me feel really welcome. She always had something fun to do, always had something fun to say. She really engaged with everybody, which I thought was great. We all had great times with Christina. It was just fun having her along, and with her leadership and her mentorship, I don't think that I would have been able to do the solo or would have been comfortable doing the quartet unless it was her leading us and guiding us.
Did you find it hard to jump into the choir and follow your part within your section and the rest of the choir and to learn the music? Like, can you explain the process behind that and any thoughts that you had on that, your experience with that?
Well, it's like everything. You know, it's you start off and it seems like a daunting task at first, but as you go through it and you start to practice and you make your way through this process, it becomes easier and easier over time. When I first started, I had no experience singing in a group. I was not comfortable with singing in a group. The theme that was going on the year that I was there was country theme. I had no idea what any of the songs sounded like. I didn't know what they were, what the voices were like, if there was any sort of slang I had to go with it. They told me I was a tenor. I didn't really know what that meant. I was just, okay, I'm a tenor, I'm in this section. But you'll find your way around and you get more comfortable with it. And that's the most important thing. Like, I don't really know how to play an instrument, but it's not so much reading the music, but more so for me it was looking at the words and listening to what's going on around me. Because if you listen to the guys around you, they really support you, and you'll just keep following them. And even when you're doing the show, I don't know where I'm supposed to be singing on the scale. I just know that if Paul sounds like that, I should sound like that too. So it's a lot easier than what people think, but it takes a little bit of time to get used to. And but if you're willing to learn it, go for it.
Do you have any thoughts or advice for anyone that may be interested in joining the male chorus, but they might be feeling apprehensive or hesitant?
Well, I think I think for a lot of people, they're scared on if it's going to be too too daunting of a task or too sort of professional of a group, I can say. Because if you see our concert, it does seem like, oh wow, these guys are really good. They must practice a lot and do all this stuff. It's really not. It's really just a group of guys getting together every week, just singing, having a good time. Just really, it's just to be with friends and stuff. I also say if you really want something to build your confidence or to just meet new people, especially for younger people who might not have a lot of like older gentlemen around to sort of push that for me, I think that's another reason just to go, to sort of have that experience of being around men with a lot of different life experiences, a lot of input to say and value in your life. That was for me what was a big thing, was being in that area of I'm in a group of men who can teach me a lot about myself. And I think that on its own, forget the singing and forgetting the performing, is enough reason to even show up.
So you said in the beginning that you didn't quite know the songs and the country theme, but by the end you must have had a favorite song or something that you really enjoyed singing by the end of the year. What was that and why?
Yeah. Well, when, like you said, starting, I didn't have no idea what these songs sounded like or anything like that. And I didn't even really bother to like look them up online either. It was really just from hearing about the process from going on the practices. Like starting our first few practices, it's super dry, just hitting the piano notes, and I was like, these are what these songs sound like? This is really bad. But once you learn your parts and everybody starts going, I'm like, oh, wow, this is really good. To pick a favorite, I don't really have a favorite. I enjoyed Rocky Top, which is why I wanted to do the solo for it. I really liked Hey Good Lookin' and a lot of the upbeat ones. I mean, they really got into a different group, but I think probably one of my favorites that there were a lot of songs that really like spoke to me there too. And to pick a favorite, but probably Lucky Old Sun, which Glenn was soloing at the time. And it was I hated singing it because it was just dry, but like listening to Glenn say it and listening to the words, I was like, I'm jealous of Glenn. I would like to perform that song. And I actually would find myself, even during the show, I wouldn't really do what I was supposed to do. I would just be humming along to Glenn's part, which I think what a lot of people were doing, which I think really caused that song to not be the greatest. But yeah, it turned out well, I thought. So that would be my favorite song.
How was your experience when we put the women's choir and the men's choir together to do a couple of pieces for festival? What did you think about that?
It was an interesting experience. I enjoyed it. It was certainly something I wasn't too comfortable with in the beginning, but coming up to our performances, it became fine. It just showed like the diversity of what could happen in a choir, and I think that above all else, that showing that diversity and what you can do with it was a great experience for me personally.
Because of your experience with the Foothills Male Chorus, what do you think you'll try next?
Well, with the confidence that the Foothills Male Chorus gave me, I think I'm not going to hold back on singing any longer. I was always hesitant on singing in front of people. Now that I know I can do it, I'm going to be more open to try that. I was never really into musical theater much, but now that I know I can sing and sort of make my way around, I might give that another shot. Certainly I'm moving this year to another place. I found that the chorus had been one thing that meeting new people was great for, so maybe I'll join another chorus or choir next year. Either a youth choir or just a mixed choir, whatever they have, I don't know. And maybe start writing my own music and performing there in coffee shops, seeing what I can do. But really just sort of expanding on what I can do, I think. That's what it really helped me show, that I can expand and grow as it in just even a short little time of 1 year. Can't imagine where I'll be in 10 years if I still keep doing it.